Cool. We're ready now. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Suka and today I'm bringing you a book haul. I have warned you that I have some long videos in store. However, I have decided that my book haul of 34 books will be split into a part 1 coming today, as you can see, and a part 2 that will be coming in February. I've tried to like semi-split it up in genre, but I think this is more fantasy and the other is a mix of everything else. There's still a little bit of fantasy in the other one, and there's also some middle grades and stuff, but this is just pure fantasy that we're going through today, and a lot of them are fairy loots that I haven't unboxed. So yeah, I have a little bit of a summary of the books, so hopefully I can do it justice. I'm gonna start out with the books that I have read. There's 3 in this pile that I have already read, so I felt like that is kind of fitting to start out with those. Of course, they are the ones that I put at the bottom of this random pile that I made on my couch. So just give me a minute. We're starting out with Bone Smith by Nikki Paupretto. This is a spoiler for my wrap-up, I'm guessing. So if you haven't, of course you haven't seen it. I haven't made it. The month isn't over yet. But I picked this for this month's TBR and I finished it. Yay! I actually think that this is like a super interesting premise. So in this we follow our main character Ren, who is a bonesmith, and these bonesmiths are kind of like, they're divided into 3 like categories, but I can't really remember the names of it. But she is basically the type of bonesmith that fights ghosts, whereas there's another type that works to separate the bones from the spirit so that the spirit can go to the afterlife. And her job is to protect that person doing their job because the spirits will attack, so that is what she's doing. And then there's the third type that kind of makes all the weaponry and the armor that you can see that she's wearing here that's like made from bones. So basically in this world there is all different types of smiths. There's like goldsmith and stonesmith, I think, as well. There's 2 types that have been like exiled or outlawed or whatever you would call it, and that's iron and ghost. Ghost has been for many years, but iron was a little bit more recent. She then fails a trial in the beginning of the book, and then she is sent to this fort thing, and then one day the prince visits. The goldsmith prince comes and visits, and he is taken on a tour of like the outskirts of the place, so like beyond the border. And when beyond the border they are attacked, and then Ren has to try and save the day. She is then caught on the other side with what she thought was extinct, but she is caught with an ironsmith, and they have to put their differences aside and try to save the prince. So that is basically like the first couple of chapters. So even though it sounds like I'm telling you the entire plot, I am far from it. It is the beginning of the book, all of what I just said. I do really like the premise. I like the idea of it. I like the whole smith, and especially the bonesmith, because I feel like that is something that I haven't seen before. Maybe I just lived under a rock and haven't really seen people use that as like a magic system. But I find it super intriguing. What I am less keen on with this book is the characters, which is not a good start. I am going to continue with the story for one specific character, and that's because I really liked his character. Unfortunately, that is not our main character. She annoys me so much, and I really hate that I feel like that, but she is just far from my favorite character. And even though she is badass, she's also super impulsive and kind of annoying. She's just not my cup of tea. But the book itself is good. I think I gave it a 3-star, and I felt like that is fairly fitting, obviously. But I am going to continue with the series, even though it wasn't really my favorite characters and all that. But the whole Smith thing is really intriguing, so I'm gonna continue. The next 2 I'm gonna talk about together because they're part of a series, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail about them because I think everyone and their mother knows what this series is about. So we have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and I do have Onyx Storm pre-ordered, so that will be here sometime. So I'm just gonna hold this up, but I like both the editions. They're very shimmery. Mine is a little bit bent here and there and have some scratches, but I mean, it is what it is. So in Fourth Wing, we follow, say it with me, Violet Sorrengail as she is being forced by her mother into the Rider's Quadrant despite having trained all her life to be a scribe. We then follow Violet as she goes through what Basgiath War College has to offer her. We have some, what I would say, like, more likely alliances and some unlikely alliances. Did I say reliance? I don't know. Alliances and friendships forming. And a lot of secrets, a lot of plot twists, and a lot of stuff going on all of the time. What I really liked about this is how fast-paced I feel like it is. Because I remember going into this the first time. I've tried it once, and then I don't know why I failed, but I tried it once, and then I was like, no, this is not for me. It is so long. I think it was because I read it physically, and I felt like the chapters were really, really long. This time I did pick it up as an audio as well, and I just loved it. It was so much fun. And I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame back to back. I remember picking it up because I have this friend from school who kept saying, you have to read it, this is so good, blah, 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 you're gonna love it. And I was like, nah, I think I'm good, I think it's fine. It's not for me. I've tried it, but not for me. But she kept on persisting, and I'm glad she did, because now I have read it, and it's one of my all-time favorite series. I just have to admit that that is fact. So they were the ones that I have read. Let's move on to the ones that I haven't. We have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This was a gift from my best friend Caitlin. So we follow this girl named Alessandra, who basically has a plan, and that is to seduce the Shadow King and then marry him and kill him off. So she has the throne all to herself. And her biggest strength in all of this is that she has always been underestimated, so it should be no issue whatsoever. I'm guessing she's kind of counting on being underestimated. But Alessandra is not the only one who wants to try and kill the king. So she eventually finds herself trying to save his life instead of killing him herself. That just sounds like enemies to lovers bound to happen. Or maybe it's like he thinks that they're lovers or friends, but she knows that they're not, and then eventually they will be. That is what I'm getting from this. Aside from what I just told you, I have no clue what this book is about. But it's Trisha Levenseller, and I've loved everything I read by her. So to me, she has quickly become an autobi author, and these were some of her backlist that I just didn't have. Or this was one of the backlists that I didn't have. Also, I'm trying to collect all of her books in this paperback thing. I don't know why, but she's made like this collection almost of all of her books in like paperbacks that looks beautiful like this. And they match despite not being in the same series. So I love that. The next book that I have here on my list is The Darkness Within Us, also by Trisha Levenseller. What I'm gathering from reading about this is that it takes place in the same universe as The Shadow Between Us, and we follow Alessandra's sister called Chrysantha, I think. At least it says here that her little sister Alessandra is about to become queen. But basically, in this we follow Chrysantha as she has become like this wealthy duchess, and all of a sudden this man arrives at her doorstep claiming to be her husband, or deceased husband or something. No, her husband's estranged grandson, and he is basically showing up to steal her inheritance. And I don't need to know any more about this story. Also, if this is set in the same universe, kind of following the same characters, I don't want to know too much about this since I haven't read The Shadow Between Us, and I don't want that many spoilers. I'm guessing that if it is about the same characters, that Alessandra is gonna become queen, but I mean, I kind of had that figured beforehand. So. But I'm also super excited about this. This is the beautiful Fairy Loot edition that we have. I don't know if there's anything special. There is definitely something special under the dust jacket, and also some beautiful end papers I'm not sure if this is the same. It wasn't. Stunning. Really stunning. There's a lot more customizations that I could show, but we do have like 17 books to get through. And we've done, what? 5. Okay, next one I can also be super quick about because this is Serpency. I've talked about this a little bit in my TBR. This is the sequel to Spice Road. I just recently reread Spice Road, which is about Imani, who believes that her brother has died. Then she finds these traces that he might still be alive. Also finds a Ginny, or whatever they call it. I listened to the audiobooks. I'm like, what the hell is this? But like a Jinn, I think. And she then goes on this journey to try and bring him back, but she has to do so with her rival, who is being very hot and cold with her. Like 1 minute when they're alone, he is treating her like a friend, and then the next he is treating her like his enemy. So it ends up being a very interesting quest that they have to go on. And I'm very excited to see where it ends up going in Serpency and what is going to happen, because it ended with so much tension going on and I have no clue what to do with it. So I'm excited to go into Serpency. I'm hoping that I will have time to do it this month. It is like unofficially on my TBR, but we'll see. Just kind of moving on with some of my beautiful Fairy Loot editions that I have, because I have so many that I haven't shown you. So I think I'm doing those, and then I'm doing the last, 4 books. Is there only 4 that are non-Fairy Loot? Damn. Okay, I'm doing the last 4 books that are not Fairy Loot afterwards. So the next one is Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron. I remember this being like, wait a minute, I thought that it was like a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but it's a Snow White on the back. So I'm guessing that it's a Snow White retelling. So this is kind of a Snow White retelling. And what I'm gathering from it is that it's like with a twist. So we basically have our main character, I think her name is Eve. She was raised with this one purpose, and that is to destroy the night, which is a sorcerer that terrorizes their land with wicked magic. And then all of a sudden her stepmother, Queen Regina, has been acting strange, talking to this mirror. And what I'm gathering from it is that the stepmother, like Regina, who is obviously in the original Snow White, is the bad one, that she could possibly be manipulated, that is what I'm trying to say, by this knight through the mirror. So that the knight is the person in the mirror. That is what I'm gathering from the blurb, but aside from that, I actually don't know anything about it, and there's so much writing in this. So a lot of ifs and maybes going on here, but I've only heard good things about Kaylin Bayron. I do have a couple of her books now, I just still haven't gotten around to reading it. I do think that this is one of the ones that I'm more intrigued by reading. I like the premise a little bit more than Cinderella is Dead, even though I've only heard good things about that as well. So I'm excited to go into it, and I think Kaylin Bayron, I need to read something of hers soon, because I have so much, and I don't know why I haven't just gotten on with it. Alright, so the next book is For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. Just the cover itself on this one is absolutely stunning, and definitely enough to just makes me want to pick it up. It gives me very desert fantasy vibes, and that is like one of my favorite things. But then when you listen to what this is like about, mind blown. So in this, we actually start in like a prison. So we follow, what's her name, Danya, who has been betrayed by her lover and falsely imprisoned for a crime that she did not commit. Instead of being this, oh, I feel so sorry for myself, how could this happen to me, someone please help me, she is planning on going full on revenge on their asses when she escapes. She is then offered this chance of escape and revenge by this djinn. I think it's a djinn, otherwise it's just djinn magic. But then when she gets out and goes to try and you know, get her revenge, she might come to realize that the one person who is the key to her freedom and her revenge might be the one person standing in her way. This is a lot about, as I've said a million times, revenge and betrayal, and I'm hoping there might be a little bit of enemies to lovers, but even without it, this book sounds phenomenal. And also the desert vibes, yes. And as I said, the cover, the book in itself, absolutely stunning. looking at inside, we have like some foiled art. I mean, this in itself. Yes, please. I'm excited. I want to see this because I feel like she's gonna be angry. Understandably so, but I mean, she is Wrath after all. Every time I do like a haul or something, I'm just getting to rediscover the books that I've just had sitting on my shelves, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna read that now. But I know I have like a TBR. Still have 3 books to go, which sounds like I'm behind schedule, but 2 of them I've already started. 1 I'm halfway with. So the next book I want to talk about is Air by Hiiya. Once again, beautiful, stunning, Fairy Loot edition. I'm pretty sure this is an alternate cover. We have some beautiful art on the end papers. In Air, we're following at least 3 people. So we follow a person named Ais, I would say, which is a person, it's a girl that has grown up in the Kagari slums. I'm guessing Kagari is this kind of place where we live. And an old tragedy fuels her need for vengeance. So once again, similarly to For She Is Wrath, we have a girl with like pizzazz. At least that's what I'm getting. I don't know. I haven't read it. Next up, we have Sirsha, who has been banished from her tribe for an unforgivable crime, which she intrigues me so much already. Like, what is the crime? Why were you banished? She then agrees to hunt down a killer who has murdered children across this empire. By the way, Ais has ended up in prison. It says here that one hot-headed mistake lands her in an inescapable prison where the embers of her wrath ignite. Is that Danya from For She Is Wrath? It sounds like it. And finally, we have Quill, who is the crown prince of the empire. So basically, we follow an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and then there is a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. And I am so excited. Obviously, this is multiple POV. It is also a desert fantasy once again, which I'm super hyped for. Maybe I should do like a desert fantasy shelf, because I feel like I have a lot. Should I? Because I'm thinking of rearranging, because I have so many books that I don't really know where to put. I've read something by Hiiya before. Was she the one who did An Ember in the Ashes? Yeah. Cool. So Hiiya is the author that also wrote An Ember in the Ashes, which I loved. Kind of got a little bit stuck in it. Haven't finished it yet. But the first book I absolutely loved. The second one, but I'm still excited to see where it goes. I just haven't moved on with the books yet, and I hate myself for it. I might go into Air before finishing An Ember in the Ashes. Should I? Should I not? I don't know. So the next one, I'm going to show the book. I'm going to tell you the name of it, show you the beautiful Fairy Loot customizations. That will be it, because of the way that we got the book. Of course, we always get like the spoiler card where we can read a little bit about what the book is about. But what I find interesting about this book is there's no blurb on it. Nothing to indicate what the book is about. So I actually have no clue what the book is about. I haven't read about it. I haven't done anything. I've just checked it in, being like, I've got this on my shelf, move on. So we have A Tempest of Tea. I have a feeling that it's going to be like magic, and tea is going to be involved, similar to Spice Road, where they make a tea to like enhance their magics. That is like fuel for their magic. I have a feeling that this might be similar, but I'm basing that purely on the title. It is beautiful. I don't know when it's set. I'm getting... I don't even know what I'm getting. 30s? 20s? Before? Victorian? I don't know when this is supposed to be set. I can see from just flipping through it that it is multiple POV. I'm getting that from the fact that, oh, I thought I could hit a chapter. I couldn't. Hey, there we go. Arthi. So I'm guessing that each chapter starts with a name, and that's the POV that we have. Also, it seems like there are a lot of characters, because we have these people, but we also have these people. Or maybe they are the same. just different clothes. They are the same. But I don't know, like, it kind of looks like it could be a desert fantasy, but also not. And I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. Other than it looks cool. But also I'm not as intrigued by this that I am the others, because I know a little bit about what they're about. And this I'm just solely basing on looks. Because there is, as you can see here, no blurb on it. And I've looked through it. I cannot find it. So, like, eventually I might cave and look it up and see what it's about. But for now, I'm just admiring it. One day I'll pick it up. Next up, we have Darker by 4 by June CL10. I believe that she is also the author that did Jadefire Gold, which I haven't read yet. This sounds like a super interesting premise, in my opinion. So it's a dual POV, and we have Rue and Yurin, and Rue is an exorcist in training, and Yurin is the black sheep of his family, and it basically says the world would be at his feet had he only been born with magic. So we have a person with magic and a person without. Then something happens, and Rue's powers has been transferred to Yurin, and then without her magic, Rue, I don't know how to say her name, feels like she can't exact her revenge, or she wants to avenge her mother's death, and Yurin finally feels like he belongs. But the city is also overrun by monsters, so there's also that aspect to take into consideration. So I'm guessing that Ree and Yurin have to work together to figure out, first of all, how she can get her powers back, if he's willing to let them go, and also how to deal with the monster issues. So I'm getting a little bit of these violent delights. And I don't know why. I just feel like the monsters in the city is giving me that. And also, looking at the clothes. Oh, well, it might be a little bit different from that. But that gave me these violent delights vibes. But I like the whole, they are kind of switching. Like, so all of a sudden, this person has magic that never had it. And the other person that grew up with it and are kind of looking to her magic to avenge her mother's death, she is now without it and having to do without, basically. I find that super interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes, because I don't know. Final Fairy Loot book, we just got this. From the title, I already love it. A Language of Dragons. This is by S.F. Williamson. This kind of looks like a kind of old school drawing of a dragon, and I love it. It kind of gives me older fantasy book, and I don't know where I get that from, but I like it. This book is set in London in 1920s, and if you know me, there's just something about 1920s books. I almost love it as much as I do desert fantasies. These Violent Delights was one of my all-time favorite books and one of my all-time favorite series, mainly because of the 1920s vibes that we got. And now I'm getting it again in this. This is then set, as I said, in London, which is one of my favorite cities in the world. I've lived there and I love going there. But this is a London where there's dragons. Normally, urban fantasies or whatever it's called, I so struggle with that. But like, fantasy books set in real life cities, normally I struggle with that, but this just seems like a cocktail of everything that I love. So 1920s, dragons, and London. It's gonna have to go very wrong for me not to like it, that's just what I'm saying. But yeah, we follow Vivian, who seems to be like she's not a rule breaker, she just follows the rules. And she then gets an internship studying dragon language. And then it says, like for the next line, by midnight, Viv has started a civil war. That's so cool. I can't. Her parents are being arrested and her little sister is missing. Everything that she has worked for in life is basically slipping away. So she accepts this very mysterious job, which basically asks her to uncover some of the dragon's secrets. She is then told that if she succeeds, her family can go home again, and if she doesn't, she will die. She then realizes that there's probably more to all of this, and she has to figure out which wars are worth fighting. And it seems super cool. And I love that this is not necessarily about being a fighter, even though, like, obviously I love Fourth Wing, but this is about dragons in a different way. So it's not about riding the dragons, it's more about studying them, and I feel like that's super cool. And again, 1920s, London, dragons, mysterious stuff happening. I'm in it. 4 books left, and some of them I can probably show you together. I will do those now because I don't have much to say. We have Foulheart Huntsman and Last Violet Call. Violent Call, both by Chloe Gong. This I can go through first. Is a novella following Roma and Juliet, mostly. Oh no, it doesn't. Hold up. So, this is a bind-up of 2 novellas. So, in the first one, called A Foul Thing, we follow Roma and Juliet, who has established themselves as the heads of an underground weapons ring in a place that I can't pronounce. And then there is another one called This Foul Murder, which follows Benedict and Marshall, and also Roma. But yes, more Benedict and Marshall. What I'm super excited for about this, which I didn't even know until this very moment, is that I get more of Roma and Juliet. I love that. I didn't even know. Why didn't I know? I just bought it because Chloe Gong is an autobiography author. Wait a minute. This is not 17 books. I'm missing some. I actually don't remember if I had anything more to say about Last Violent Call, because all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. I bought these at the same time that I bought Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. Exactly, because that she is an autobiography author. I loved These Violent Delights so much, so anything that she puts out, I will read. I do believe that this is more of an adult, maybe new adult book, and I have no clue what it's about. But, I mean, tear down a lover, rebuild the kingdom. Excuse me? Once again, I have no clue what this is about. This is just a standard edition, but this is, like, so beautiful. What on earth? I just bought this. Where did I get this? In London? Ooh, this is so cool. So this is about some, like, deadly games. I didn't know what this was about. I'm so sorry. So it says that every year thousands flock to Air, the dangerously dense capital twin cities of the Kingdom of Talon, where the palace hosts a set of deadly games. Those confident in their ability to jump between bodies can enter a fight to the death for a chance to win unimaginable riches. Then we have something about our princess Kala, who has been hiding for 5 years ever since she murdered her parents to free the people of Talon from her tyrannical family. Damn. Okay. And then she still haven't gotten rid of her uncle, who is then the king, I'm guessing. And then we have Anton Makusa, whose childhood love has lain in a coma since they were both ousted from the palace. He's deep in debt and trying to keep her alive. Ooh, and then they form an alliance. I'm so excited for this. Also because he already has, like, the love of his life, so what are we getting from this? Are we just getting friendship? Because that would also be super cool. I'm excited for this. Then I said we also have Foulheart Huntsman. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. This is the sequel to Foul Lady Fortune, and I haven't read it yet. I want to, but it's also really big. So I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But we follow, I believe, Rosalind from These Violent Delights. So it's like a spin-off following her story in the 30s. Not the 20s. So it's like 10 years or so after These Violent Delights. 2 books left. First up, we have The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm going to be reading this for my TBR. As you can see, this was my big book prompt. I found it as an audiobook. Yay me. But this follows a human daughter and then also a nightborn vampire. I don't do vampire stuff. I don't like reading about vampires. I really don't care. Something about this intrigued me, and it is because there is this legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. And that just seems cool. So it says here, but winning won't be easy against the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Oriya will be forced to make alliances with a mysterious rival, which I'm guessing is going to be the love interest. And that just sounds cool, and I think that it's about the same age range or age group as Fourth Wing would be. I'm excited about it. Final book. I don't know why she's an autobi author. I've only read one book, but there's just something about Makia Lucia that I absolutely love. Makia Lucia is the author of I can't even remember the book. What's the name? Year of the Reaper. Cool. I love that book, despite not being able to remember the name. I knew it was something with Reaper, but I had just talked about An Ember in the Ashes, and I was like, Reaper at the gates? No. But this is Dragon Fruit, which is, I believe, her newest. We follow Hanalei in this, and she is the daughter of an old island family, but then her father steals a dragon egg, or sea dragon egg, meant for an ailing princess, and then she is exiled. One day she then meets a sea dragon, I'm guessing, female sea dragon, that offers her a chance to return home. And then there is also Sam, who is the Prince of Tamarind. He can't inherit the throne because Tamarind is a matriarchal society. Is that what it's called? So when his grandmother is dying, Sam is then left 2 choices, and that is to marry or to find a cure for the sickness that has plagued his mother. So his mother is ill and the grandmother is dying. There we go. So those are his 2 choices. I'm guessing that Hanalei and Sam will partner up and try and find a cure, maybe? Or they will cross paths one way or another and then figure out that they need each other's help. I actually don't know a whole lot about this book. It seems good. It seems interesting. I feel like I've been filming for a solid hour. And it's not a feeling, it's something I know. Because I can see the time and everything. So this was part 1 of my book haul. The next book haul will also have 17 books. Yay me for not having filmed for so long. So I hope that I did a decent job explaining what the books are about. Because I'm normally not that good about it, or good at explaining what books are about when I haven't read them. Because like all I have is the blurb, and the blurb is doing it so well. So I don't know how I can do it any better by retelling the blurb, because I have to have read it like a million times to even understand and remember. So, but I'm doing my best. So I really hope that you enjoyed. I had a question, but I don't remember what the question was. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment telling me, oh, I remember the question. So please leave a comment telling me any vlog ideas that you would like to see me do. I already have a couple, like the whole switching screen time, and I have some apps that I want to try and use. I also wanted to try and do more creative vlogs. I do have like some embroidery kits that I've gotten from Fairy Loots that I thought would be fun to do while listening to like an audiobook. So if you have any like creative stuff that you would like to see me try and tackle, let me know. But any type of vlog ideas, I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm trying to put in my vlog schedule so I know when I will have to read what. So please let me know if you have any ideas. If you just want to let me know that you are here but don't know what to comment, you can always, or not always, but today you can leave, I think there's a pink flower, pink flowers, there's some here. Any pink flower emoji, that would be great. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, bye!